Imagine you just bought a new laptop for $1,200. You put it on your credit card for the cash back and purchase protection. Smart move. The money is already sitting in your checking account. You wait for the statement, you see the charge, and you pay every single cent before the due date. No interest, no late fees. Textbook responsible behavior. Then 2 days later, you open your credit monitoring app and your stomach drops. Your score fell 30 points overnight. No missed payments, no new accounts, no fraud. Just a mysterious nosedive that nobody warned you about. If this has happened to you, you are not alone. Millions of Americans watch their credit scores swing wildly every month, and they have absolutely no idea why. Because nobody ever taught them the one calendar date that actually controls their score. It is not the due date. It is a completely different date that your bank buries in the fine print. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how your bank photographs your financial life, why that photograph almost always catches you at your worst, and how shifting one payment by just 2 days can separate a decent score from an elite one. Today, we are cracking open credit utilization, the most misunderstood and most powerful variable in the entire credit scoring formula. Payment history takes a decade to build. A hard inquiry sits on your report for 2 full years. But utilization resets like a light switch the moment you understand the reporting calendar. We are going to cover exactly when your bank sends your data to the credit bureaus, why paying in full does not mean your report looks clean, and the exact percentage targets that separate good from phenomenal. If this kind of content helps you see through the smoke and mirrors of modern finance, subscribe. That single click keeps this channel alive. Now let us talk about the trap. From a young age, we are conditioned to worship the payment due date, and it matters. Miss it, and you get a late fee and a negative mark that follows you for 7 years. But here is the problem. We assume that when we send a payment, the credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, update instantly, like a live scoreboard. That is a fantasy. The credit reporting system does not work like a video stream. It works like a security camera that takes one still image per month. And the timing of that image has nothing to do with when you pay. For most people, the camera clicks on the worst possible day, when your balance is at its peak, weeks before you actually pay it off. Here is the anatomy of a billing cycle. Say your cycle runs from the 5th to the 4th of the next month. Every swipe adds to your running balance. On the 4th, the cycle closes. Your bank locks in that balance, generates a statement, and this moment, the statement closing date, is the single most important date in your credit life. Whatever balance appears on that statement is the exact number your bank sends to the bureaus. It gets stamped onto your report for the entire month. But your payment is not due until roughly 21 to 25 days later. So if $2,500 was on your card when the statement cut, that $2,500 gets reported even if you pay it all off 2 weeks later. You paid 0 interest. You slept soundly. But on your credit report, it looks like you owe $2,500. The fix is simple. Instead of paying after the statement arrives, you pay before the statement is generated. You find your statement closing date, and 3 to 4 days before it hits, you push a payment that drops your balance to almost nothing. When the cycle closes, the bank sees a tiny balance, and that tiny number is what gets reported. Same spending habits, same total amount paid, completely different credit report. Now let me show you why this matters so much. The FICO model breaks your score into 5 categories. Payment history is the biggest at 35%, but sitting right behind it at 30% is amounts owed, which is almost entirely driven by credit utilization. Nearly 1/3 of your financial reputation depends on how much credit you are using at the exact moment the bank takes its snapshot. It outweighs the length of your credit history. It outweighs your mix of credit types. You could have 15 years of flawless payments, but if utilization spikes for 1 month, that 30% slice collapses and drags your score with it. The math is simple division. Balance divided by limit. If you owe $600 on a $2,000 card, you are at 30%, and that is exactly where the first cliff begins. Below 10%, you are golden. Between 10 and 30, you are fine. Cross 30%, the algorithm flags you as a risk. Cross 50, you look like a crisis. Push near 100, and your score goes into free fall. And this applies both to your overall utilization across all cards and to each individual card. You could have $40,000 in total credit, but if one card with a $2,500 limit is maxed out, the algorithm treats that single card as a red flag. But here is the silver lining. Unlike a missed payment that haunts you for 7 years, utilization has zero memory. The FICO 8 model only cares about your most recent reported balance. If you were at 85% last month and tanked, but this month you report 4%, your score bounces back as if the 85% never existed. One good snapshot erases the last bad one. Now you might think the goal is zero utilization on every card. If low is good, zero must be perfect, right? Wrong. Reporting zero across every card can actually produce a lower score than reporting a small balance. The FICO model evaluates how you manage debt. If every card shows zero month after month, the model has no evidence you are actively using credit. You look inactive, and an inactive borrower is a slightly bigger question mark than someone who uses credit responsibly. People with perfect 850 scores tend to hover between 1 and 7% utilization. The optimal strategy is called all card zero except one. Pay every card to zero before their statement dates, but on one card, leave a tiny balance, maybe $10 or 1% of the limit. This tells the algorithm you are using credit but keeping it extremely low. And here is the key distinction. Reporting a balance is not the same as carrying a balance. You report $10 when the statement closes, then pay that $10 before the due date 3 weeks later. Zero interest, maximum score. Here is the execution plan. Step 1. Find the statement closing date for every card. This is not the due date. Open a past statement PDF and look for billing cycle ends or statement closing date. Put these dates in your calendar with a reminder 2 to 3 days before. Step 2. On your reminder day, check your balance. If it is $1,400 and you want to report about $50, manually push a payment of $1,350 right then. Do not wait for autopay. Step 3. Verify the statement when it posts. It should show your small target amount. Then, make sure that amount gets paid by the actual due date. The first few times, double-check manually. The worst outcome is getting clever with utilization and accidentally missing a payment. You do not need to do this every month. This level of precision really only matters when you are applying for something important in the next 60 days: a mortgage, auto loan, or business line of credit. The rest of the year, keep utilization loosely under 20% and let autopay handle it. One major warning. There is a line between smart timing and dangerous behavior called credit cycling. If you have a $2,000 limit and you spend $2,000, pay it off, spend another $2,000, and pay it off again in the same month, you have pushed $4,000 through a card approved for $2,000. Banks interpret this as potential fraud or money laundering. They may freeze your account, demand tax returns, or shut you down. Keep monthly spending within your limit. If you constantly hit your ceiling, do not game the payments. Call and request a credit limit increase instead. One last defensive tip. Do not close old unused credit cards. Your overall utilization is total balances divided by total available credit. Closing a card with an $8,000 limit removes $8,000 from your denominator. Your debt stays the same, but your utilization percentage spikes instantly. Keep old cards open. Put a small recurring subscription on them, set autopay, and let them quietly pad your available credit. Here is the full playbook. Find your statement closing date. Calculate your utilization and aim for under 10%. 3 days before the statement closes, pay down to about 1% of your limit. Let the statement generate and that tiny balance gets reported. Then, pay off the remainder by the due date. Zero interest, maximum score. A two-step payment rhythm that separates your real spending from your reported spending. Try this for 1 month. Pick your highest balance card, find the closing date, pay it down early, and watch your monitoring app. When you see the jump, come back and tell me how many points you gained. That data helps everyone here see the proof. If this video gave you a new lens on how the credit system actually works, hit subscribe so you do not miss the next one. I will see you there.